We have all fumbled a baddie at least once. Not me though, I'm literally a 6'10" matcha drinking nonchalant Korean e-boy with a fucking Lamborghini. But even a 10 out of 10 like me will have fumbled a baddie at least once. It's just a canon event, but fellas, for as much else as I take in my day-to-day life, which is zero, at least I don't have my else published on the internet for everyone to see. So fellas, this is the story of how an artist fumbled so hard that the entirety of Indonesia found out about it. Let's begin. To start, let me say something that we can all agree on. We love hags, MILFs, 40-something-year-old women. They're just hot, man. Like, you have this woman full of life, full of experience, and best of all, she's likely got a massive fucking rack on her and all that ass. God damn! God damn! God fuck! I'ma get to the story in a bit, but low-key, I gotta yap about MILFs some more, man. Like, holy fucking shit. You don't realize how many hours I've spent on the hub just looking at some MILFs, man. Ellen Joe ain't a mom, but I'm sure as hell gonna make her into one. But here's the thing with MILFs, right? They don't gotta have all that in order to be a MILF. Hot take, I know. I would do anything for hags. We would all do anything for some hags. And keep that in mind for later, right? So now we get to the story. There's this dude based Binky, artist, literal artist. He mainly does these medieval fantasy drawings and shit, but he's a hardcore gooner. But one thing you should also know is that I think bro likes hags a little too much. But that aside, we'll save him for later again. For now, we move on to Suminetsuki Shibara. Not exactly the protagonist, but our main character nonetheless. She's a VTuber, every hag lover's dream. 42 years old, hot as fuck, massive colossal titans on her, and a motherly attitude. Freud's wet dream, I tell you.
What's a nigga gotta do to get some eel dick?
She describes herself as a proud and mature lady and also a warm and talkative auntie. So hell fucking yeah, she's gonna pop off. So am I, by the way. So she got the reaction you would expect from a very hot older Japanese VTuber debuting in this day and age. Everyone was asking if she was single, and that is also a question I would have for her. And so was Based Binky, and I can't blame him. He initially was just another one of those guys who was sliding in, shooting his shot, and you know what? His platform was his strength because he had a following. People were, you know, backing him up, defending, passing the ball to him whenever necessary. What set him apart from other people asking if Sumine was single and like drooling all over her like a slobbering dog was that Based Binky was quite defensive about her. He went first into that hag machine, and again, I don't blame you. Damn good deal. He was talking something along the lines of, Zeus, your son has returned. It actually went something like, stop liking this, you savages. She's mine. Face me in battle if you dare. And well, after he posted that reply, this happened. Suminetsuki Shibara was married. Well, no surprises there considering that she's an attractive 42-year-old woman who drew and of course had a massive rack on her. To add salt to the wounds, she had a daughter too?
My woman was banging this warthog and you didn't do anything? I didn't say anything?
Now, what makes this reply particularly horrifying was her lack of words. Nothing, not even an I'm married or a no thank you, no. She took the time out of her day to draw herself with a ring, and her face says it all. It can be interpreted as either a graceful rejection, a smug look, saying that you can't have all this, it belongs to my man, or maybe both. No words, just a picture. Of course, anyone in Binky's situation would obviously be devastated by this. And like Kendrick Lamar, Based Binky was just a mortal man. He obviously showed his pain, his sorrow, with one simple reply and a gif. No! It's just What have I been fighting for? Miss Maki was a lesbian. What can I do now? I must applaud Binky for his strength, though. If I were in his situation, I would shoot myself. Really, I would. Kurt Cobain on the spot. And with this fumble, Binky has cemented his spot as the Jesus Christ of gooners. Of course, word spreads around when an actual hag spawns into the VTuber community, and with that, unfortunately, word of Binky's legendary fumble spreads with it. What makes it bad is that it spread onto Facebook, and what made it worse was that it spread onto Southeast Asian Facebook. I can tell you right now, not based on experience, that Southeast Asian Facebook is an inferno. Dante only wrote about 9 circles of hell because he didn't want the world to know about Southeast Asian Facebook. It's like Twitter if the people were equally as retarded and also played Mobile Legends. Singaporeans don't count though, they're probably too busy eating laksa or some shit or jumping off of Bencoolen station. Again, worst place to end up in. Binky's fumble found its way onto Indonesian Facebook. God have mercy on your soul. Indonesia's even worse, man. That's like where the raid was filmed. But that aside, the only way that it could be worse was if Filipinos were roasting him. But that is, if only they could just stop blasting fucking budots in the middle of a peaceful afternoon. It was actually over at that point. After Binky found out about this from a source, he posted his final tweet, and after that, he hung himself from a banana tree. When people found his body, it was confirmed that Binky was Filipino. Worse, they found a suspicious hole in the banana tree leaking a strange fluid, which unfortunately indicated that based Binky was Bisaya. Of course, people cannot know of this, so the CIA does what the CIA does best and replaced based Binky with a body double who spoke like him, drew like him, tweeted like him. Then of course, Suminetsuki Shibara continued on her career as normal, never knowing of the fate of based Binky. And with that, the story of the most legendary fumble of all time concludes. Remember fellas, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but sometimes it's better to not take the shot.